not leading that conversation. I can't.
I'm talking about the intro, bro.
Oh, well gone.
Assalamu alaikum. You're now listening to the Jollof After Jummah podcast.
Ding, ding. Do it again.
I'll leave that in.
Yeah, of course. But do it again,
guys. Jollof After Jummah.
You're not even gonna say welcome to the new.
Well, yeah, everyone can see in it. It's a new setup.
Are you blind?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Where are we?
What's the address?
What's
this face?
Fair called Bunny.
Yeah, man. We're new location. Obviously, we dropped the bag in it. New studio. What BBC Studios? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, man. New location. Obviously, we're trying to be a bit more
self-sufficient,
professional. I did that on purpose, by the way. You did that on purpose.
I think you woke up, but your tongue didn't wake up. Yeah, man.
Professional.
Yeah, let me even. I'm showing hella leg. Yeah, man. New studio, man. Well, kind of studio. Someone's living room. His name shall not be mentioned. We just call him O. Some say Mad O as well. Yeah, man.
I like O's in the building.
So obviously it's a new studio, new settings. Obviously levels. We're gonna try, inshallah, to keep it all consistent and that. But you know, if there are some small technical kinks and stuff, it's a new place. It's our own. We're kind of self-sufficient now, so bear with us, inshallah. Yeah. But yeah, alhamdulillah, it's good, man. It's good. It's nice to be comfortable settings just around the brothers. Yeah. It's cool, man.
Alhamdulillah.
We ain't recorded for time as well. It's been like a little break, obviously, because we did 3 episodes in 3 days, or whatever it was.
So to the listeners, it's a normal, but to us, we recorded 3 episodes in 1 week because of the whole New Year and holiday.
Tier 4.
Yeah, and Tier 4. Yeah.
How you feeling about that, by the way?
Tier 4.
Yeah. Are you abiding by the rules?
Are we? What kind of question is that? We're breaking the law.
That we
breaking the law right now.
Nah. All I'm gonna say. Yesterday, I went out for my designated exercise, and I happened to run into some brothers who happened to be doing the same thing
at the exact same time.
At the same time,
just a mad coincidence.
Yeah, mad coincidence in it, and we may have, I kicked my ball and it, might have gone to my friend who passed it back to me. Some people more accurately than others.
Hey Joe, right. Hey Billy.
Yes, and then but anyway, I enjoyed my designated exercise very much. So yeah, so thank you for Boris Johnson for allowing me that. Sorry, that is naughty, but yeah, man.
There may have been only 4 of us, 6 of us.
Social bubble in it.
Oh, wait, you're not even allowed
and to be fair, obviously you're working, so something like this podcast, because it's like work, you're allowed. So media and stuff can continue. I mean, obviously we were having a team meeting. I guess that's a podcast meeting.
It's a loophole.
Yeah, and
fair enough.
Yeah, man. So guys, stay at home, man. Protect their NHS. Nah, seriously though. Stay at home, protect their NHS.
Yeah, we're not getting out of this, man.
Huh?
We're not getting out of this.
Hospital is mad.
We're not getting out of this.
Hospital right now.
Because it's just because everyone's just tired now. No one is taking this seriously.
Yeah, did you see that thing? St. Thomas Hospital.
No.
They were protesting outside the hospital. To me, this is very stupid. Outside the hospital where people are dying of COVID.
You're protesting what?
They're like, oh, it's a hoax. They're maskless and blah. And I'm not even the most obviously based on every 5 days a week I'm seeing more than that, seeing the impact of the virus and that. So it's even if I don't take it, obviously I take it seriously, but even if I'm not, I don't adhere to or see the rules and see that they make as much sense and blah blah blah. To go as far as saying, oh, this is a hoax, this is a jam, it's like, come on, man.
It's a mess, man. Because that's basically what they've been doing in America this whole time.
Yeah.
That's bro.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting out of this anytime soon, because now that we're probably going to go into another lockdown and no one is taking this seriously anymore. Because remember, the first lockdown was strict. People were staying indoors. No one is doing that anymore. No one cares. Non-essential shops are meant to be closed.
I spoke to one of my bros
on the way here. How many shops did you see open?
I spoke to one of my bros. This guy I told them it happened to be New Year's Day. Obviously, it's not a New Year for us. And I was like, yeah, catching up. What are you saying? This guy was on his way to a New Year's. Apparently, there were bare parties.
Yeah.
As if
nothing is happening.
Yeah, Mrs. was on the way home from like a shift or whatever, and she saw the train. It was New Year. It was the 31st. The trains were ram. Everybody dressed up. It's Do you know? It's like, not to get on my high horse and that, but there's certain things. So let's say obviously people are not abiding by the rules or whatever, the guidelines they set up. Cool. So for example, like at work, there was a big thing about people going home to their families for Christmas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For me, I don't see that as, obviously that's against the rules technically, innit? But to me, somebody going to their house, like their family's house, to spend that day with, I don't see that as that deep. But then if you're going to break the rules, like obviously when you think about it, put yourself in their shoes. For example, like, am I going to, like, if you say it was Eid, for example.
Yeah, that's what
like,
I was going to say. Yeah.
So I'm not going to, but like New Year's Eve, like let me go to like some house party with 400 people in it's like, come on.
That's just silly. I don't know, man. But
it's like read the room, innit? Do you get
I feel like at the same time, you can't blame people either. Because people have been tired. People are tired.
Yeah.
People are actually just...
I can't blame anyone.
Now,
the only one who can blame anyone is anyone who follows all the rules, innit?
Let's say we're going into another lockdown until March again.
Yeah.
That would have been... This country's been on lockdown for an entire year.
Yeah.
For an entire year. That's insane.
But do you know, but then like, the other people will say, yeah, but like, if people's lives are at risk, for example, if you're someone who goes out to work and you're going out to work with somebody who has to come to work because they'll get sacked, and that person has to come to work but lives with someone vulnerable, and then you go into that party and you say you're going to bring this virus to me in my workplace that I have to come to, and then I'm going to take it home to my parents. So like, it's all a mess, man.
Yeah,
it's just a mess.
But I just think it's like, because it wasn't handled properly from the jump, this is what it leads to. And now if we go, this is what I'm saying, if we go back into another lockdown, it's never going to be like the first one.
It won't be the same, yeah. I think I've said this on one of the other podcasts as well, like time ago, that you get one opportunity to, especially with the UK, the culture, do it properly, to do something properly before people stop listening.
Yeah.
And I think we just came out too easy, fam. In
August,
they were telling me to go Benihana's, fam, to eat out to help out, and then now they're telling me.
I think from the beginning, the government, a lot of people just lost faith in the government, and obviously everybody's gonna have their different perspective on how the government should have handled things. But from when you've had, like, look at the respect that people, the level of tolerance people have for their government in other countries, other developed countries compared to us. Like when you're being hesitant and when you're being wishy-washy with the rules and whatnot, of course you can't expect you can't expect the affairs of the people to be stable.
I think I was saying this as well, that it's top down. If they're not respecting the rules at the highest level of government, why do you expect us to follow them?
Oh yeah. It's top down. The health advisor, whatever, man's going out to
rules,
especially it's this country, innit? This country is a rebellious.
Get me? Illicit relationship.
Vaccine. What are you man saying?
Vaccine.
Yeah.
Me.
I've been getting asked this a lot.
I'm alright, man. I'm good.
Your nan, your aunt can go and get the vaccine before I get the vaccine.
I've been getting asked this a lot.
I'm Gucci, man.
Can come
Producer.
Produce properly, man. Hello, Benny. What are you saying about vaccine?
I'm good, man. I'm alright.
You're good. Why are you good? Healthcare professional. You know you're.
No. I don't know. Okay, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like because I haven't actually seen anybody suffering from it, and I haven't suffered from it myself, I'm not actually that scared of COVID. And I'm just gonna be honest. Maybe I'm stupid. I probably am. But I don't have, and that doesn't mean I don't appreciate that the virus is dangerous and I don't do what I need to keep myself safe. But I just don't think I'm just not that afraid of COVID. So
yeah, but we know people who. There's a thing that a lot of people we know have said they've had it. Even at your stag, there's I don't want to mention names, but there was like 4 or 5
What?
people who said they had it.
I only know only one person
So
that I know of among the brothers has had it. There's only one person I know.
There's been some breakouts within the community. So
I don't even mention no names, but you know how there was just on our table. You know our table.
Yeah.
There was like there's the person in front of me, that person, and the person next to Rams.
Yeah.
All 3 of them said they had it. They thought they had it before. It's always a lot of people.
I thought I had it.
A lot of people are saying the same thing. I thought I had it.
Yeah,
but
because I remember it was at the beginning, and I just broke out into like a mad cough for like 2 hours.
Yeah, but what we all need to remember is that
for no reason.
We're in a season of a flu. Like this is normally.
Do you know it's actually interesting? This is a bit of science for people. Sort of COVID, or this is based on reports. I don't think it's confirmed, but it's strongly believed that basically the COVID-19 virus and the influenza virus are like competitive, which, because even I was saying this in hospital, normally at this time of the year we see a lot of, so there's like, do you remember that drug when swine flu came out, drug when it came out, Tamiflu?
Yeah. So
Tamiflu is a drug they use for like just normal flu, seasonal flu, now winter flu. And around this time of the year, it's almost like you're seeing that drug everywhere. It becomes like sweets, that everybody's on it. Because if one person in let's say on a bay of 6 people in a bed in the hospital, if one person tests positive for just normal flu, which happens all the time, everybody in that bay, all 6 of them, have to have prophylaxis, like preventative antiviral drugs to stop them getting it. And so because of that, because of the amount of people testing positive and the amount of people on prophylaxis because they've been around someone positive, everybody's on flu, like on the flu medicine. But you're not seeing it this year. And like, as in when I say like, let's say there's 30 patients in a ward, it will be like 20 of them or 15 of them at one point for every ward is on that drug. So you're seeing that drug everywhere. You see it on the floor, you see it on the table. It's just because it's so much. But you're not seeing it this year. And it's because it's it's suggested that they're competitive. So flu is actually not really a thing this year because of COVID. Because COVID is
how do you know if you've got flu or if it's COVID?
No, you can when you test them.
The symptoms,
because the like when they test you for like a virus or something, normally they test them for, it's called, sometimes it'll be like that, like an antigen, so like a protein on the virus that differentiates that it's this. So they're testing for that. Yeah, dropping science and all that. Yeah. Put my glasses up and yeah, so like
lost the taste, lost the smell and all of that. But sometimes apparently you can't a lot of people don't get the symptoms. They just happen to get a test and then find out they have it.
Well, bro, should we get producer Mike or what? You know, man said, you know, I knew he was, you know, man said, nah, I'm not good.
It's contagious.
I knew he was, obviously it's contagious. No, anyway, don't worry, they can hear you in it. It's good, innit? It's mad in it. Look for man. You won't find him, but look for man, innit? Yeah. So like people are obviously, I believe they are still testing people for when they have symptoms like coughing or what, or flu, or just like routinely testing for flu. They're just not getting it as much. But what everyone's getting is COVID. There could be another reason, but that's what the reports are.
Yeah. I'm not getting a vaccine anytime soon.
Why?
I just don't care. Like, it's not. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. But again, it's firstly, my wife's the biggest conspiracy theorist. She doesn't get flu vaccine. She's not on it. She doesn't do this whole jab thing. Flu jabs, whatever jabs, none of that. She's not on it unless she needs it to travel. For example, when you go Umrah, you need to get
yellow fever.
Yeah, when you go Ghana, when you guys
I needed it for Ghana.
Yeah. So for those scenarios where you have to get it, cool. But other than that, she's not on it.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, but a vaccine is sorry to cut you off. But a vaccine is where you inject somebody with like a weakened version.
So you can have a live vaccine or a inactivated vaccine where it's like, did I say that right? Yeah, live would be like a very, very, very small. I think I should. Well, anyway, I should know this like nothing. But live is, I believe, is someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Is like basically a very, very small negligible amount that's not enough to cause an infection or cause symptoms or cause you to get ill, but enough to generate an immune response, to generate, as Abdullah said, the antibodies. Yeah, and then an inactivated vaccine is when they give you basically, like, I've imagined a version of it that the bit that causes the symptoms and the infection and the blah 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 is not there, but then the bit that allows your body to recognize it and generate an immune response is there. So, for example, for a live vaccine, I don't think yellow fever might be a live vaccine. Those ones are more risky. Those are the ones that actually people tend sometimes to get sick. So, like, if you're immunocompromised for some reason, like you're on like certain drugs, like you've got arthritis or you've got or you're on chemotherapy, you can't have those ones because your immune system's weaker. It can actually cause you to get sick,
right?
Because it's not enough for a normal person or someone with a normal immune system, but it might be enough for you. Whereas an inactivated vaccine or whatever, that's just generally, which is like, for example, flu. So according to science, people that say I got the flu vaccine and it gave me a flu, according to the science, that should be impossible, because what they're giving you is not something. People think vaccine, they give me a small bit of the virus, but for influenza vaccine, technically it's not actually that, so that shouldn't be possible. I'm not gonna deny anyone's story that, but the science says. But
I don't see the reason for a vaccine for the flu anyway, because flu's I swear we've been evolving hundreds, thousands of years having a flu without needing a vaccine. So why do we suddenly need it now within the last 50 years?
People die of flu.
I get it. If people die of flu. Yeah, but I swear it's people with compromised immune systems, like the elderly and a baby.
Yeah, it's like the profile of somebody that's going to die from the flu generally is likely to be the same as this person that will die from COVID. However, within that, obviously, there's still going to be exceptions, anomalies and whatever. And I believe, based on just what I've seen, COVID seems to be more threatening, slightly more threatening to younger people, or people that shouldn't die. So, but then it's probably because I just see it more on the news. I don't hear about flu as much.
If that's the case, why are kids allowed to go to school when everyone else is in lockdown?
Do you know, it's that balance, isn't it? It's the balance between trying to keep.
These kids still need an education.
Yeah,
still need an education, but
what they've done to the education system as well.
But what is happening doesn't make sense. Like,
none of it makes sense.
Is education more important than health?
None of it makes sense, bro. None of it makes sense. When you can
do a Zoom thing.
When all these tiers came out, it was we were in tier 2. Tier 2. Football stadiums were open for 2,000 people, but you were only allowed 15 people at a wedding.
Even in the midst of it, the gym started opening.
That doesn't make any sense.
You could go to the pub.
Gyms being open, even though I was going gym, and like obviously I was happy that gyms open. Realistically, gym should be one of the last places that open.
Nah, I had to
an
go.
indoor gym.
I had to risk it, bro.
No,
I'm developing love handles. They need to go.
I'll go, fam. I'll go. Ibs, don't laugh. I'll go, but really, when you deep, like, when I think of the gym, like, if someone's sick, like, and you're putting your hands on a metal bar,
but I don't know where they got these statistics from. Apparently, 1% chance or something ridiculous like that of catching it in a gym.
Fam, you can't have there's no statistic. There might be occurrence, like, but you can't predict what's gonna, because if all three of us have COVID and we go to the gym, then your chance is going to be more than 1%. So
100%. That's what I've been thinking. Yeah. I don't know where they got these stats from.
It's probably some gym putting that out to convince people to not be scared of coming to the gym.
There was a gym that was shut down.
Bear in mind, these hand weights. People are going toilet, not washing. I'm seeing it. I've seen it. People go toilet, not wash their hands, touch themselves, whatever, and then go and touch the weights and whatnot. Like it's nothing. When you hold the dumbbells, you can
regardless of COVID. Gym is a scatty. Gym is a scatty place.
Yeah. So I don't understand.
Gloves are needed. Yeah. COVID
sorry, bro. I interrupted you.
No, it's calm. There was a gym that was shut down, and I think the owner was fined.
Oh, was it the woman?
No, it was a man, and I cannot remember the name of the gym, but it was shut down.
Was it in London?
I think so.
I know there was a thing in Liverpool where they when they shut down the gyms, but she kept it open, and and everyone was back in and the police came and.
That sounds very similar, but I remember it being a man. But that sounds very similar to
one I saw was a woman.
Yeah,
but yeah, going back to this vaccine thing.
For me, it's just the whole. I saw a report of Philip saying,
Philip.
A man just said who?
Just Philip, bro.
I'm not quite. That's not my prince.
Oh, you mean the Queen's husband?
Yeah, Philip, Charles,
I
whatever.
just said Philip.
That's him.
Like, cool.
Like he's your boy, like.
Him saying you be one of the last people to take it. Okay, so if he can
As in
openly and broadly say
the old one,
yeah,
He's on some sort
Man's
of drug
nearly
anyway
dead,
that's
and
keeping
he's
him
saying-
alive, fam.
vibranium, fam.
Mountain of Caucasus. Now, if he can say with his chest to the media that he's not taking it, knowing full well that he's part of a family that has influence, what does that say about everyone else, normal mortals or whatever? That like, are we the test guinea pigs or something?
Did he actually say that though?
Yeah. It was on. Well, it's Sky News, so take
Yeah.
it with a pinch of salt. But
Fair enough.
apparently he said it. If it's not on video, it's Sky News, but it's still there nevertheless.
Do you know what it is with the? I think
he even said it to a reporter, I think, or a doctor. I can't remember.
if I'm speaking responsibly, which I think I should, then, and this dance I always give people, it's like the vaccine. Like I don't believe, based on because I've read up and stuff and looked at the trials and blah blah blah, and it's like there's no obvious breach of like the imposed standards on how you get a medication or any medicine from development into market. Like they haven't done anything wrong. It's been rushed and fast tracked, but they haven't done any clear breaches of policy for the vaccine. So they haven't just not
Rushed
done
it to
something.
get out,
But there's one that was released. They've now released a second one.
Yeah, because very different companies are trying to make it at the same time.
What?
So like,
Shouldn't they all be collaborating to make one?
there's money to be made, bro.
Yeah, it's money, man.
It's money, innit?
It's money.
I don't know.
So it's
I don't
money.
know
What's
about
the
that.
name of the company that's come out with the vaccine?
It's was it Pfizer?
Is it Serco? Has Serco
I
come
know there
out
was
with
one that like Oxford University or something, and then there's was it Pfizer? All of the big drug
I
companies.
just find it
are German.
strange.
I think it was
They've
Pfizer.
been-
I think it's
they've been-
Pfizer.
It's money, bro.
It's
money.
They've been battling for almost a
Contracts.
year to
Yeah.
make a vaccine, and suddenly within a space of what
We've got
2 months, one comes out and then another
vaccines,
comes out.
Yeah, but with science, it tends to work like that. Like
Unless they studied
because
from the initial vaccine and then find a way to further perfect it. I don't know, but then again, not many people have had the vaccine,
it's
so
like
they wouldn't.
different companies or different pharmaceutical companies or whatever will be developing it and trying making it and blah blah blah. More than like with a vaccine, the formula for a vaccine is quite straightforward. Generally, you need to just like what I said. You need to. There's a virus. You know what the virus is. You can get the virus. You can physically have a sample of the virus.
Yeah.
Look at it. You need to take out. You need to see I shouldn't know. I'm rusty, bro. But the bit of the virus that generates an immune response, so the protein on it, the antigen, that generates the immune response, and then you need to hone that in a way that you can give it to somebody to generate that response without giving them the virus.
Right.
So it's like it's not for somebody who does this. It's not for them. It's not that complex. It's just about.
It's time for the
It's just about what's the word? It's just about making it happen, basically, which obviously can take some time.
Why would that? Yeah. Why would that take so long?
Huh?
Why would that take so long?
When you did, it didn't take long though.
Didn't it?
No.
Nah,
Just come out one though.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
as in,
March.
but remember, there's every
Not
drug has
March,
to go
bro.
through stringent
Technically,
process
COVID has existed since December,
before that.
and then we took it properly serious. Yeah, and then we took it.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, it's
We
2019. That's why it's
we
called.
went
COVID.
into lockdown in March. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it wouldn't. So the actual development of what they thought could be a thing that they could use wouldn't have taken long, but it's the testing. So like first they have to test it in a in vitro, like in a test tube basically to see if it would work.
Yeah.
Then they have to do in vivo testing, probably animals. So animals to see if it's safe, not going to cause any kind of disease and whatever, and it's effective. So then they would have tested it in humans to see if it's safe.
Yeah.
Then when it's deemed safe, is it effective and safe? And then once all that's signed off, it can come to market basically.
For the sake of being responsible, I'll take it after 3 years, man. If people are not dropping off,
That's the only thing. So with a new medicine, generally, like, and this is just all medicines. Like you'll see even in like there's a book called the BNF that just basically has all the drugs in it. Any new drug that has like a black triangle against it, and that basically means like if this drug basically if anybody notices anything, report it. So even if you get a cough, report it. If you get a bit itchy, report it. If you feel a bit sick, nausea, even if it's normal to take off, just report it. So they can generate all of that. So that's how like a drug, if you go to paracetamol or something, even though it's so basic, the list of side effects and possible things are so big because of like if 20 people have report one thing, you have to put it there as a thing. You can't just ignore it. You have to put it there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
exactly.
I was gonna give a mad comparison of cars. Like,
yeah, exactly.
First year production of cars,
exactly.
you never buy the first year model
because there's always gonna be kinks. Yeah.
So if there's like a C63 that is 2016, you never buy the 2016 one, buy a 2019 one because 2016 there's a bunch of issues and recalls. That's how you get recalls.
Yeah, exactly.
People report issues and then
exactly. So from that perspective,
you said PS5. So should I have not bought a PS5?
I wouldn't have bought. See, I wouldn't have bought a PS5 now, unless like as in generally.
I don't care. I like my
PS5. I mean generally for like remember the PS3, like the first PS3, the big thing. Yeah. Hella issues, bare people, but then by the time they got to the end, the slim
software
one,
updates and,
the slim one that's just
and cooling
that will probably last 100 years and not break. Whereas the original one breaks. Everyone's broke after 3 years, 4 years.
So this doesn't apply to the iPhone, by the way. iPhones are just naturally just.
This guy, one day you hate Apple, one day you love Apple.
Trust me.
Man, we got to be honest. Like, it's a nonsense thing.
But yeah, so with the vaccine, just like any other drug, I would say the same thing. That like me as a person, I would generally like to veer away from any drug I don't need. When they make a new drug, there's normally like when they it's because somebody needs it, and the people that are going to take the drug are the ones that need the drug. Sometimes even before a drug is released, people are allowed to take the drug. Or in clinical trials, a lot of the people like cancer drugs, they get the drug because even though it's not in the market yet, this could save my life if it's what you say it is. So they're the ones who take it. So like the vaccine, it's like just like any other drug. I'd generally stay away from taking a new drug because all that information isn't there yet because it's yet to be documented because people need to report all of these madnesses. That's why the allergy status or whatever is changing every day. Like, if you're allergic to egg, don't take it. If you're allergic to penicillin, there's all these things because it changes. It's bare erratic, innit? But if you need it, they've done their due diligence. Due diligence. So I will never tell someone not to take it, innit?
Sorry,
especially if there's a need, and there is a need.
Sorry, but 1 minute. One minute.
I'm hearing
people
that
from outside. Yeah. I'm hearing cars.
I think I caught a car going past and then people.
Is there any way to like, the window's open?
Yeah.
Is there any way to?
It was around 30 minutes. I was gonna say after, but yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
I don't think there's a way of avoiding it.
The way of it,
It's not unless we get those soundproofing things.
Soundproofing, yeah.
But I can't turn man's whole house into a studio. To be fair, we can leave that in anyway. I don't care. It's not that deep. Yeah, just in case.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah. So if don't be scared. I would say don't be scared. I don't think it's a conspiracy.
Is it available to the general public right now?
Like I could get it, but I'm one of the higher risk people because I
think
work around patients.
You guys are NHS and you guys are working around patients. That's why I think you guys are prioritized.
But you can get it from your GP,
and then.
But only if you're right. As of now, it's only for people higher risk groups, or the over 80s or like certain conditions or
compromised immune systems and NHS stuff.
Yeah, so it's like frontline staff and old and vulnerable basically. But eventually, I'd say in a few months, it's gonna be because 2 weeks ago I couldn't have got it, but now I can. So it changes. It's changed.
Patients have been a little bit mad as well. Like, last week, I had to turn someone away because before I take a patient, you have temperature in it.
Yeah.
So I had to turn someone away. He came with a carer because he had a high temperature. Him and his carer had a high temperature. So I had to turn them both away.
In my head, I thought you were going to say he came back with a burner.
No.
What, you turned me away?
and man is shouting at me, and I'm just like,
How old was he?
It was I would say in his 80s, and I was like, what? I just didn't understand, and I'm at the point I work now where
He's 80, he's tired, man.
I'm not always nice to patients. But let me not say that. I am nice to patients, but then when you start being silly, I become very, very blunt because I don't have time for this. So I was like, why are you actually shouting? Like, I'm doing my job. I'm showing you your temperature. You can see that your temperature is high.
What type of 80 was he? Was he, what nationality was he? What?
Karen.
What was?
I was Caucasian.
Like,
yeah. So
okay. No, but because you know, there's 80 and a bit senile 80, and then there's 80 and you're very with it. 80.
I think he was a little bit senile.
Yeah, then man, you just have to.
At the same time, I was like, bro, like you know what's going on, so why are you shouting?
Does he?
He knows what's going on. He knows the deal.
Do you know it is though? Like
from what I can see,
he's 80, isn't it? Like leaving his house. He left his house. That's long.
Nah, man.
And he had a carer, yeah.
Yeah, the carer with him.
It's long, man.
Blame the carer.
Allow me, man.
No, I'm not allowing you because you can be upset.
Was he? So what was he saying to you? Was he abusing you?
He was shouting at me. Like, get me out of here. Why are you turning me away? And I'm like, bro, you know what's going on. Like, if you're upset, I understand, and I will apologize because I understand it's long, but I'm doing my job. I'm actually doing my job, and it's not like I'm being shady. I'm showing you.
Did you shout at him back?
No, I didn't shout at him. I didn't shout, but I was like,
never shout at him.
I was like, you can see,
especially old people.
I was like, you can see your temperature is high. You can see your temperature is high. Like, I'm just doing my job. Because if I see you now with a high temperature, I'm going to get in trouble.
So you hate old people?
I don't hate. Wow.
That's what I've taken from this anyway. Let us know if you feel in the comment.
It's not the first time I've had to turn someone away, and most people are generally understanding. It was just kind of that one occasion where he just decided to go off, and I was like, "Bruv, what do you actually want me to do?" So yeah.
The truth is, I always just feel sorry for old people. Because it's long. Imagine everything's long. Imagine going to get water is long.
I do, but then.
So I'm just like, But I know. But you can't let him in. You can't break the rules.
Some.
It's gone up and down a bit.
Sometimes it's like I get a lot of patients where, have you ever seen a patient that they attend appointments with like family members, but the patient isn't the problem.
The family member,
and it's the family member that's the problem because they're just mad overbearing, and they just and
you always have those patients where it's like that the mum's here today or the, you know what I mean, because it's just gonna make you're gonna have 1,000 more questions to answer.
There's one I'm thinking of that if I even get it, it's just long, man. But it's like
if I speak,
don't lose your license.
Don't listen. They just do not listen, and they think that because they've been wearing hearing aids for X amount of years, or their parents have been wearing a hearing aids for X amount of years, that they suddenly know more than you. And it's like, if you don't listen, you're going to keep on coming back here. And the next time you come here, I'm going to tell you that you're here again because you didn't listen to me last time.
Assalamu alaikum. You're listening to Jollof after Jummah. Don't go anywhere. Because there was a reminder I listened to that was quite beneficial, and it was speaking about some. You see him all the time. You hear him all the time. Some imam,
especially because this year, New Year was on Jummah, so a lot of people were trying to. I got a lot of messages with people trying to mix the two and sending me these New Year Jummah messages. I'm like I didn't even respond. Alhamdulillah, I think our generation's
more switched on.
More switched on when it comes to this specifically. I got it more from.
We're back in,
some from our generation.
Cool.
Some from our generation, but more from the elder generation. But I feel like our generation's more.
Okay, I feel like before we get into this, let's just be clear on what we should and shouldn't be doing for these kind of celebrations. And I believe that basically because it's a pagan calendar, that we shouldn't be celebrating New Year.
But we shouldn't be celebrating.
We have our own Islamic New Year.
It shouldn't be of any significance to us.
The thing is, see that, so significance in that. So for example, look, a new day, let's say you had a bad day, it's not haram to say, it's a new day, so I'm gonna, and even though you didn't say it at Fajr, you said it when you woke up at 8 o'clock, it's a new day, that's not haram in it. So you could say it's a new year, so in this 2021 I want to use this as a point to become a better person, become a better. That's not an issue.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But to sell it to 3, 2,
Yeah.
1, that
I think that's what I was just gonna say. I think
that is when it's.
I think it's important to realize where you can go wrong with these things, what people do, what non-Muslims do on New Year's, and how it relates to us, and whether we can do these things, i.e. the parties, i.e. the celebrations, what are we celebrating.
Unlikely you're gonna, all the events are gonna be likely to be haram events.
Yeah. So this is one of the indications that we don't, and as Muslims anyway, we try and strive to distance ourselves from not disbelievers, but what disbelievers do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So like for example, one thing that I haven't seen it, but I'm sure somewhere in Nigeria this is happening. Like something like New Year dhikr or something. Like, oh, we're gonna come and we're gonna do dua from 11 until midnight, and then say 16 alhamdulillahs and 1,000.
He's not bid'ah.
But yeah,
he's not bid'ah.
So that is very much bid'ah. Like that is like or bid'ah. I think we said it before, but attaching some type of religious significance or
so just innovation.
Believing you're gonna get some type of benefit or there's some virtue in something that is not been given virtue by Allah.
And one of the most kind of dangerous things about bid'ah is that shaitan will kind of trick you into believing that what you're doing is beneficial. And it's just that, and you might think that it's beneficial, so you might think that just doing a special type of dhikr is beneficial, but if it's not derived or if it doesn't come from the Quran or the Sunnah, then
it doesn't come with clear cut evidences.
And a lot of the times, basically, that specific act at the time, like at its origin, isn't specifically something evil or blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly.
But then what it does is it opens the door to madnesses. So for somebody saying, "Oh, let's I don't know, do 1,000 alhamdulillahs for this reason," or count something like that. Cool, at its heart,
it doesn't sound bad.
But then what it does is it leads to, so if you can take that information, if you're somebody who can take information like, if you basically, I think we did remember
these messages say la ilaha illallah 1,000 times, and you'll have the senses of a cat or something.
Even read it. If it sounds good, it's
something ridiculous. You'll get Jannah if you say Bismillah 2,000 times. Where did this come from? You know what is
chain messages. Yeah.
I think a lot of these things you'll see on YouTube, but I was gonna say you'll see on YouTube, but it's not as worse as the WhatsApp messages. But I think nowadays it's kind of balancing out. They're both as bad.
I just feel like, I don't know, this might sound mad, but I just feel like using the internet sometimes as a resource to seek knowledge can sometimes do more harm than good.
If you're not using a verified source.
Yeah, and that's why I would just lean more towards just like using books.
That's what that's where they term Sheikh Google.
More time
or a trusted or a website that is very, very like Abdurrahman.org or something. Because like we can say it's easy to say books, use books, but
not many.
Like when we think of the people, like, okay, books. So every time I want to know something, I need to get a book. Like books are, but especially if you can be around that environment, that's the best. But
some people find it tedious.
Yeah, like
that's fair enough.
You know,
yeah.
For me to do it, I'm using my phone more than I'm using the book.
You're using the app and the apps and stuff, exactly. So so production. So someone like production, is an example of how it's like the advice or the suggestion you can give. You know, sometimes it needs to be, what's the word? Not applicable. It needs to be not really, but basically realistic and
appropriate.
Yeah, appropriate. But for so like if you're coming from a stage where you're kind of trying to learn this new thing, you're not really studying that much, or you like me, and you want to just like try your hand at learning something about Deen, Islam or whatever. The easiest way to do it is going to be in a way that you're used to using. It's going to be into
then fine. Then it would just make sure your sources are verified, innit?
Yeah.
And
I know. I think the reason why a lot of people fall into bid'ah and things.
Okay. No, go on.
I think the number one reason why a lot of people fall into bid'ah the most is just crowd mentality.
Mhm.
People see something, and they see maybe views, likes, comments, if it's on the internet, or they see a crowd, and they think, okay, a lot of people are doing this, so it must be right. So I'm gonna play it safe and just go follow blindly and do this. Whereas sheep mentality. Whereas
because,
we need to,
and that's what social media is.
100%.
It's just herd mentality.
100%. Whereas we need to remember that if we're doing that, we're no different to, and this is no offense, I'm not bashing Christians, but you're no different to Christians who follow blindly.
I'm joking. Yeah, who follow. Remember, we said that following pastors, not the
just blindly
following pastors, and not the Christianity even.
Yeah, following with no authentic sources, no evidences, nothing. Just following because they told you to.
So like, this is the thing I was the Mythbuster. Yeah, obviously everyone who's listening to this should have read it already. But just in case you haven't, yeah, what does it say? So I'll say when it's my words and when it's proper somebody with authority's words. But if it sounds legit, then it's legit, right? Then I best believe, brothers and sisters, that this is completely wrong and extremely dangerous mindset to have when it comes to matters around the deen and ibadah. On the authority of the mother of the faithful Abdullah Aisha radiallahu anha, who said, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "He who innovates something in this matter of ours, i.e. Islam, that is not of it, will have it rejected by Allah." In one version, by Muslim, it reads, "He who does an act of worship we have not commanded will have it rejected by Allah." So how's this relevant to us? Innovation often springs in certain conditions. One, when we mix culture too heavily into our religion / worship without taking the time to consider the appropriateness. Two, when we take instruction on worship from those who don't know the Quran and Sunnah. Three, when we pass on information regarding acts of worship without verifying the source of the information. That's what Ibs was talking about. And is this a big deal? In my opinion, and a lot of the majority opinion, this is an extremely big deal. Unfortunately, a lot of the misguidance and evil we see today comes from a combination of misunderstanding and innovation. Innovation spreads through communities like a virus and preys on the majority who have influence without the best of knowledge. Worst of all, as the hadith tells us, innovated acts of worship, despite good intentions, may not be accepted by Allah. Yes, so it may all be for nothing. And that's one thing to hone in on, yeah? So like, you have to ask yourself. Like,
not only that, sorry to interrupt you. It may also be sinful. It can in some cases lead you to shirk, which is okay. There's minor shirk and major shirk, but both are shirk. Like that's the worst, one of the worst sins you can commit.
Shirk is just in case anyone
associating partners with Allah.
Cool. So like
other than Allah.
So like the reason. So you might think the reflection is, and what I've heard when I've kind of pondered on this is, like when you think of why would doing something like saying Alhamdulillah 100 times or something like that for believing, and the difference is saying Alhamdulillah and saying 100 times is different from saying Alhamdulillah 100 times for X, Y, Z, which somebody might tell you. And the reason that's dangerous here is because, like, and I think I've spoken about this, like, and I know I've spoken about this with production, for example. I don't remember when me and Maman, it was like the religion can only maintain its sanctity if it's protected in its original state. Yeah. So if you can attach, if somebody is able to attach, and this is why a lot of other things go wrong, and a lot of why these deviations go wrong, is because when somebody is able to attach something to a religion in the name of God, then that religion is now basically tainted and open to anything. So there's no like, let's say there's no anchor that everything comes back to. Yeah. So in Islam it's Quran and Sunnah. And if you don't have something like that where everything ties back to, then do you have a religion? You don't really have a religion. You just have a principle
of ideas
and an idea, a basic idea that people reference back to. Yeah. That has now gone all over the place, and that's why you have all of these
Old Testament, New Testament.
I'm just even just in Islam. That's why you have all of these sects and all that, and it comes from somebody saying something, and somebody now attaches. If somebody is able to, if I can see Ibrahim as a source of somebody who's able to tell me what I can do to enter Jannah, to get close to Allah, and I take what Ibrahim says with no basis, then now Ibrahim has the power. If I'm somebody and I will follow Ibrahim.
To be
Ibrahim
an
now has
intercessor.
that. Yeah, Ibrahim is almost like basically has become my prophet now.
Yeah.
Because now he can literally tell me something. He can,
Yeah.
and so he can start off with say 100 alhamdulillahs. Tomorrow he tells me pay £100 into my account, and then the next day he tells me go and recruit 8 people, and then to pay money into my account. The next day he says, oh, we also have to
Go to Syria.
we have to go to Syria. And do you know what I mean? And suddenly we have a next thing.
Yeah.
But then Ibrahim will probably claim he's a Muslim.
Yeah.
And then we have Abdullah who's done maybe something similar. But now he said you have to
Worship graves.
worship graves, and then suddenly we have grave worshippers and Syria fighters, but all in the name of quote unquote Muslims.
Yeah.
And what's the religion? No, what is it? So that's why there's a snapshot of why these things, these bid'ah is
Dangerous.
very dangerous. Just taking it back to the New Year's Day thing or New Year's whatever. What I do think is important to do is what I do think it is an opportunity to do is obviously something that we should all be doing as Muslims and just kind of is reflecting, innit? So checkpoints in our life. What was it Umar Radhiyallahu anhu said, like, you know, I'm gonna paraphrase, but check yourself before you're checked. Ponder or check, basically question yourself before you are questioned.
Yeah.
Check yourself before you are checked, etc. And the reason that's important to do is because at the end of the day, it's like an exam. Like when you're not gonna. What do we do before we have to do exams? We revise and we do past paper. We do questions. We question ourselves before we're questioned because we know that question's coming. And it's the same thing like for Judgment Day, obviously. And the questions we're going to be asked in the grave are going to be that's the big test, innit? And that's what our life is basically gearing up to make sure that we're in a fit state. Inshallah, we're in a fit state when that time comes.
Inshallah.
So that's time like New Year's, because we live in a society where we do follow a calendar. Just in our lives, we follow a 24-hour clock and we follow a calendar.
Yeah.
We go by the days, we go by the structures. There's no point getting away from that because it's just fact. That there's no point if like we can use some of that to our advantage, or use that to, you know, as points. So a new year, a time to sit back, reflect. What have I done this year? What have I achieved? You know, what have I done? Have I done my salah? How many prayers did I miss? How many Jummahs did I miss? How much Quran did I learn?
Is Hajj possible this year? Yeah. Can I make the intention now?
Did I do massacre? Did I go Hajj when I could have? So if you can, you know, use that as this time to sit down and just ponder and think, where can I go better? In 2021, what can I do better than I did in 2020? Then that's where you can use these things like New Year as an advantage, and there's no sin in that. And people may think that anything attached to 2021 has no significance. That's not strictly true, because the example I just gave, I don't think you'll find, you won't find any credible issue of that as long as you're not placing too much significance on the time in itself. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So having said that, 2021, anything specifically? I know you don't want to give away too plans or whatever, but like let's rephrase it so we're not speaking to you personally. As a population or like a community, is there anything that you think specifically we should be trying to achieve or trying to better or trying to improve on within ourselves? Let's say for like youth or whatever, that type of thing. I got a couple of things.
Go first.
Should I go first? So I think youth, like engaging younger people in the religion, I think is something that has to be on top of the priority list for 2021. Because I think 2020, let's say if I think about like youth, for example, what we do, I feel like 2020 was the year of low engagement. Like we kind of we not distance. Obviously, it's the virus and everyone distance from everyone, but I feel like we've lost not a grip, because we're not controlling them, but I lost a grip on the kids.
I don't think we've lost people.
Not lost, but I feel like we haven't. I feel like they've been a lot more vulnerable to society and less not vulnerable because they're not vulnerable to us, but vulnerable to our influence or any positive influence.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to get that in it. So when people are, especially young people, generally, when they're just left to their own devices, and when I say young people, I mean like adolescent, like under 18 type. When they're left to their own devices, they're more likely to fall into whatever society is saying, and which is a bit not scary, but it's a bit scary because it's like almost like you can do so much hard work to try and interface them, do all these good. You can just
go down the drain.
You turn the drain. Man.
I don't know. I think speaking about just camp in general and how it was on our Instagram. Just what was our theme again?
It was yeah. We posted it on our Instagram. It was we did a virtual December camp. Normally it would be in the masjid every year, but this year, obviously COVID, we did it virtually. I was surprised. What, the turnout?
I was.
It was more than I expected. With alhamdulillah,
it was like, if I'm just being honest, if I was that age, December camp was running, boy. So I was definitely surprised at the turnout, and I just think that kind of shows that
we don't give them enough credit.
Yeah. And
to be fair,
there are still kids at that age that do genuinely want to learn. Obviously, I wasn't kind of like heavily involved in,
by the way,
contacting the kids, but were all of their parents called, or was it?
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of them.
Just to give an honourable shout out to everyone that was involved. May Allah reward you guys for all your efforts.
I mean,
the elders that ran the camp this year. Obviously, I wasn't around, but
I just think, but even though we did call their parents, but still you could see that the kids were there, like they were still interacting, and they wanted to be there. It wasn't like anyone was being forced to be there, innit? So I think that, I guess hopefully if the situation does get better and things open up a bit more, that we can definitely build on that and take that forward and just kind of keep doing what we're doing. But yeah, try and push it out to the wider community and make it more. And I think I mentioned this before about youth as well, and making it more of, it is community right now, but it's
broaden that,
primarily like Nigerian community, and I think it would be sick if
we could broaden that community.
We could broaden that.
And COVID, I guess like COVID is showing that you can literally, you don't have to have people physically. And obviously that's the best, but to be part of a community, like you can still maintain a community without physically being there.
Seeing them there.
Yeah, so it'll be nice, like if people, cause I don't know if this stuff, obviously I'm sure it does, and it does, but let's say like our listeners will be interested to know if people have like Islamic kind of communities or events or whatever going on around them.
This is the thing
that are relevant to specifically to like their demographic, so younger people.
I speak to people about this kind of thing all the time, and I feel like
it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Not like
ours. Not like ours.
It exists. It definitely does exist, but not like ours.
But it's not like ours, man.
Not like ours.
It isn't.
And when you say like ours, what do you mean?
As in the way we set up.
Yeah, and
camps.
That it's this close and tight knit.
Yeah.
I don't think it exists.
Do you think tight knit? Do you think so? Do you know how do you think? So I don't think I don't think this as much as I used to. I don't think you need to be that tight knit as a whole community.
You might not have to be, but from what I've seen, it generates the best results.
I think you can generate your own community because for example, there's no we're fortunate because we all grew up together and blah blah blah. So we had that there.
And that's another thing as well. How many people I've noticed recently that people place a massive significance on how long they've known their friends for. So people say things like, how many friends do you have that you've known for more than 5 years? And for us, man, that is normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've known each other since we were kids.
Yeah. But if you don't have that, because let's say if we're talking about societies that, or communities that don't have that, and they're trying to start some. Let's say they wanted to start something like what Man Youth does, like, or they wanted to have that, but then they don't have 100 people that they've known for their whole life.
You don't need 100 people that you know for your whole life.
I'm not saying it's no. I'm
That's
not
a
saying
bonus.
It's a bonus. It's not necessary, but it's definitely a bonus, and it makes it better.
You've seen with people
The beauty
that
of
are
Islam
new,
is gone.
you've seen with people that are like newer to the community, or you've seen with people, for example, that didn't go, like, for example, there's people that are prominent members of the camps and circles and stuff that we do that never went to the madrasa. But like, so it's like, I won't say it, but like that have become prominent members, and you only see them twice a year. So I feel that what you do, I don't think you might not need 10 years of, you might not need 10 years of, go sitting next to each other in class. But if you can have 5 days of having a sick time together, and you can build a relationship that you can continue, like, you can to WhatsApp or whatever, and then you can come back another 6 months later and do another big event, and then you can build those quality. Because think about us, like, most of our most of our memories, like, of each other, or like of time together, come from events. They don't come from when we were sitting in class, we were half asleep. Like, realistically, when we were kids, do you know what I mean? It's not like we were.
If you mention Wales,
don't mention Wales, fam. That dead camp, fam. Like, most of our memories, they come from, do you know what I mean, certain. So course, I think you can recreate that, innit? So I feel like it's just about getting people together, and getting people to come to these things, and.
But then at the same time, it's like you can bring these people, you can bring people together for an event maybe twice a year, but outside of those two events, what keeps you together? What keeps you close?
I think people do build connections at those type of events. That as long as it's not too long, as long as you got WhatsApp, you got whatever, you can keep it going enough. So that you can, do you know what I mean? I think, there are kids, for example, that see each other only at camp, but they're friends.
Yes, that's fine.
And they became friends at camp.
Okay, but outside of camp, do we know that these kids talk?
No, but they must.
Are you sure?
I believe they do. Like, and a lot of the, I'm thinking of examples where they do. Like, they definitely do. Maybe not like as much as they do with their school friends, but is that even necessary? Fair enough, you are trying to build. You're trying to make it so that ideally everybody has that Islamic group, that group of Muslim boyfriends, that or friends, brothers and sisters or whatever, that they're, tight knit, and that that's their primary.
Did you say Did you hear him say boyfriend, didn't it?
Did I say boyfriend?
You said boyfriend, didn't it?
A'udhu billah. Yeah. You can leave that
Obviously,
there still.
I didn't mean boyfriends.
I'm playing.
Yeah, brothers and sisters. You've killed me. Brothers and sisters that they have as their main friendship group, but that, do you know what I mean? You have to start somewhere, innit?
Yeah.
So like, because you can't go. I think it's dangerous to say, the only way you can build this type of thing is that if you have a mosque that has 100 kids and they all grow up.
I was gonna say was the beauty of Islam is you can literally form strong, tight brotherhoods and sisterhoods with people that you've never met before. Islam's not, because you have Islam, there's a sense of, I don't know.
Assalamu alaikum. You're listening to Jollof after Jummah. Don't go anywhere. Assalamu alaikum again. Sorry guys, technical difficulties as we said, bear with us. So just before we wrap up, just another thing, like 2021 things. I think someone mentioned travel.
Yeah. Before that, I don't think you finished talking about the.
I don't know where we got to before it cut.
We were still talking about brotherhood and sisterhood in Islam and not needing to know.
Oh yeah. So like, I think just to kind of wrap that one quickly, like, and having that back historic knowledge of people, families, blah blah blah, that's all a bonus. But I think we've shown, in even just like kind of new people that have become integrated into our group and all that kind of stuff, it's a bonus, but it's not essential, innit?
Yeah, 100%.
And having that thing, something like Islam,
I think the beauty of Islam is you can there's no shying, or there's no feeling like you're a beg.
Yeah, exactly.
As you do in our culture. There's none of that. when you walk into the mosque and you see brothers and you say Salaam alaikum, it
Not
automatically breaks a barrier. It breaks one layer, and then you go and sit down with them or your sisters, whatever, and then you sit down with them, and then
I was gonna say
sisters and sisters, brothers.
No,
and brothers.
I did no, not even that. I was gonna say what I have heard. One thing that can be a hindrance to a community like ours, is when we get too comfortable and two guys that are like. So, for example, us three, we've known each other for 5 years. Like, we don't necessarily need new people, maybe, to integrate into our groups or whatever. Yeah. So, for example, if I speak to production, when production came out with the mandate, I'm sure it it felt like you're probably walking into like someone else's. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can imagine you're new. Like, there's 30 people
that have all known each other
for their whole life, and then you're so
I think
it can be easy for us to exactly.
Yeah. So I think that comes from Jahiliyyah.
And it's worse for girls.
when oh dude, sisters is a different kettle of fish. Like, they have
careful.
Yeah. The way they deal with each other is totally different from them. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think that comes from Jahiliyyah. Like, as a non-Muslim or anyone from our generation, like I said before, it's kind of when you try and get friendly with people, when you try and break barriers too quick, if that makes sense, it's kind of seen as like begging or beg friend, or you're trying too hard. You're like, you need to step it back a bit. People are afraid of showing love to each other.
I think one thing.
Whereas
no, go on. Sorry,
Islam is no, go ahead, bro.
I think one thing that you said about being able to break down barriers very easily with other Muslims, I might have to disagree with you on that just slightly. Okay. It's not a conversation for today, but I think definitely the fact that obviously we're Muslims and we have the same background makes a big difference. But when it comes to
I think if you've got a pure heart,
mixing people from different cultures and different races, still Muslim,
it's not as easy.
It's not as easy.
It's not going to be as easy because there's going to be stuff that you differ on. You're from two different cultures.
I don't think it's that. I just think it's just from
racismo.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Racismo.
Racism. Oh, racism.
Not racism.
Yeah, but again, I'm talking about Islam.
Just,
I'm talking about. Remember, I said.
Muslims ain't completely immune to these. Yeah, it's like what you said. Muslims aren't completely immune.
I'm talking about a normal scenario or a more pure scenario where two people or a bunch of people, one person has met a bunch of people, and those people have a pure heart.
No, I understand, but bro, like, that's in an ideal world, isn't it?
Do you know what it is? I think depends on where. So if you go to an event,
the point I'm making is that you might be able to make the argument if you were to maybe walk into Man Mosque and somebody was to come over to us, but could you make that same argument if, let's say, you walked into a different masjid and, I don't know, anywhere?
You know,
would it be exactly the same thing?
100%.
Ilford, you just go sit with
and they'll just be staring at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Wouldn't be exactly the same
I'd
thing.
even. Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what it is? I'd say there's clear instances.
Sometimes you say salam alaikum, they'll just air you.
There's clear instances where there's certain environments that are conducive to people from different backgrounds mixing. For example, let's say if you like, I don't know, there's a conference, like a winter conference, Green Lane Masjid or something in Birmingham. Like, that's just the random. So that's an example that's far away from us here. But like somewhere like that is somewhere where you're gonna get and it's expected. Brothers are coming, are Pakistani, Bengali, Nigerian, Senegalese, and it's like Jamaican, and you know that it's like, and everyone going there is if that mindset.
It's a good mix.
It's a mix, and it's just or if you go to, I feel like within Man, the thing about Man is that generally people that come and visit, like couple that come, are either, if they don't know, if someone didn't bring them, they're local, so they're, even if they're not
from our community, Nigeria, from our background,
they're around us,
we're
all South Londoners or whatever. So it's like we know how each other move in it, so they're used to us, so it's calm. Definitely. Or like, and those are the examples. Or like, it's someone like, I don't know, Rams brought one of his boys from uni, like, and he's from Morocco or something, but he's boys with Rams, so that it's already because he knows Rams, and Rams is like us. It's like it's already the bridge is already built. But then you have certain instances where it's like, for example, just a random location in East London or something, and then this place is just like Bengali or something.
Yeah.
And then it's like you don't feel, and this is not specific on Bengalis, I just use that country as random. And then it's not necessarily a place that's typically exposed to multicultural or different events.
Multiculturalism.
So it's
Islamization.
So it's like in those instances, it may not be like what the pretty picture that we painted. 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Moving off that, just before we wrap up, like, so traveling, because that's something, that's one of my things from 2020.
Yeah, I mentioned traveling.
I know that all three of us, I'm sure, would have, in a different circumstances, would have left the country at some.
What's the date today?
Today's the 3rd.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. Yeah.
Yeah, or even skiing.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I wanted to go skiing so bad.
Yeah.
I loved it last year.
Oh, Ibs would have backed up.
No.
Ibs wouldn't have been allowed to go.
I wouldn't have been able to go. So
Wait, was you originally meant to go?
I wanted.
It was
to,
in a group chat.
It was just,
So management said that you could.
No, I lied, man. It wasn't manager. It was Yeah, it would have just been long, man. Yeah. It would have just been long. So I'm not too upset about that.
That's waste, man.
Trust me, skiing was sick, man.
I've got literally like bookings that I'm still delaying the latest. It's mad, man. It's mad. But traveling.
One thing about my whole situation with business and lockdown and whatnot is, obviously, as I've said, I've lost a lot of money this year. But it's made me realize, like, one of the things lockdown's made me realize is when I was working my ass off and whatnot, even before I got married and stuff, I was just kind of like focusing too much in the future, like working, thinking about my children, thinking about all of this, and focusing too much in the future, not thinking about myself and not thinking about now, being more selfless. Whereas going through what I've gone through and whatnot has made me realize that I need to live and enjoy life now, because the only thing I spent money on, people think I got money because they see me in my car and whatnot. They saw me in the M3. They saw me in whatnot. Huh? I don't have money, mate. Okay. They think that they see me. But what they need to realize is I enjoy that. Like, cars are my passion, and that's where I spend the majority of my disposable income on. Yes, I might buy something nice in regards to clothes here and whatnot, but I don't really buy design or whatnot. Most of my disposable income went to cars. So I didn't really go on holidays because I didn't have time. I didn't do none of that. What this year's made me realize is I want to like travel. I'm not. As soon as I start making money again, I'm traveling, man. I'm spending my money because I was extremely frugal. The only thing I spent my money on, as I said, was cars. I didn't spend money on nothing else. The only time I went out to eat was with you, man. Yeah. You, man, and the elder brothers. That's it. I didn't really go out to eat like that. I don't really do much.
Another thing that, to be honest, and this was something I mentioned in the very, very first episode, but I just didn't elaborate on it properly. Like, I think this whole situation, this whole pandemic has just kind of proved that the only industry that hasn't been hit properly by this pandemic is healthcare.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember my mum's brought up a point where he said that I think he said there are the other industries are like food and clothing. Yeah. So then, but he traced it back to the roots. So he said agriculture, and then I can't remember what else he said. But then I was like just like kind of modern day industries. The only one that hasn't been properly hit has been healthcare. Like
tourism and events are finished.
Everything else has shut down.
Finished.
Everything else has shut down.
They've been hit the worst.
Everything else has shut down. It's just proved that those kind of things are just they're not necessities to everyday living. They are, but then at the same time, if they can shut down, then they're not. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was just something I'd been thinking about recently.
And with traveling, on the rare times I have traveled in the past, Like I felt like it's more deeper than us going to another country. You go, you visit, you go. Do you go to a place where you experience another culture? You experience stuff about yourself.
It's education. Traveling is part of your education, I think.
100%.
Alhamdulillah, my parents, I traveled quite a bit as a kid, so been to quite a few different countries. So and yeah, again, it's education, man. It's like you were said, it's seeing different cultures, it's seeing the ways that different people live. That okay, I can do this in the UK, but this might not run in a different country. I remember when I was like 10, and we went to America, and what shop were we in? I can't remember what shop we were in, but we were in like a clothing store, and my two older brothers, they must
in America with your Irish passport.
My two older brothers, they must have gone into the changing room together, and the staff in the store decided to call feds on them.
Wow.
Because they thought that they were doing
hanky panky. Okay.
In the changing rooms.
How old was he? How old were they?
So if
you was 10.
If I was 10 at the time,
so they wouldn't have been more than like 16.
14 and 17.
Okay. I was about to say
they were doing madness in the changing room, so they called feds on us.
Wow.
So yeah, it's experience.
Different cultures,
it's experiencing stuff like that. That just it gives you a different perspective on life.
100.
Yeah,
you learn a lot about yourself when you
see how other people live. Like especially that. See when you see how other people live, yeah, you realize a lot of the not nonsense, but as in you realize how life simple. So like, we get trapped in thinking that life has to be this way and we have to do this, we have to do this. But when you see another way of
and that it works as well. It doesn't have to be.
People are happy.
Yeah.
I'm married now, but I still travel a lot by myself, man. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy being by myself.
This episode comes out, man's gonna be in trouble.
My wife knows this. But again, like I said, I plan to travel a lot. Even when I went out with you, when I went Turkey with you, man.
Yeah, me you and Tao, innit?
These men they love sightseeing and stuff. I'm not on that. I'm not on that.
Why not?
I hate sight. I'm not a tourist.
Do you know it's not about being a tourist?
I enjoy learning about
there's sightseeing and there's, but we were going to Masajid, fam.
Do you know what I don't like? I don't like when people go on holiday and will just like.
Nah, man, more time. 20 minutes. Go on.
What I feel like when people go on holiday. And when people go on holiday and kind of just like sit in a resort or I feel like you're just wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it's a waste 100%. Of time. So not necessarily sightseeing, but definitely going out. But definitely going out into the community and just seeing things and seeing the way
I'm not about going
sightseeing at the same time. I don't mind doing that.
No, that's you.
Fair enough. You don't want to look like a tourist. I get what you're saying.
It's not about looking like a tourist. I'm not a tourist.
You know, the two things.
I want to engage with the people. I want to see the food and that. But I'm not about going to the museums and going to the history. It depends on what it is.
I love history in it, so that's me in it. So I don't, for example, I don't care about going to, I don't know, there's sites that are like, do you know there's things that are made for tourists or there's things that are attractions. I don't really care about that.
I'm not on that.
So like when I went to Dubai, I didn't care about going to see the Burj Khalifa, for example. I didn't care about that. But then when I was in Turkey, I wanted to see all the masajid, the historic buildings. I like as much as I can, especially when we was in the, what's it called? The
Hagia Sophia.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, when Hagia Sophia and the one that used to the church and then converted to the mosque, mosque church, mosque or church, mosque, whatever it was. And then they give you like the bits and you can read the bits and there's historic parts of the building. See like, for me, I like that stuff in it. So what was a drawback of that place was the fact that there was bare tourists that are there. Like, yeah, but it is what, isn't it? That's part of the, and obviously, but I think like I do agree that the most important part is the integration. Yeah, with the
for me, like most people want to go. I don't know. Where's
Papua New Guinea or something.
Like for example, I intend in Charlotte to go places like Algeria, Japan, China, Thailand. These are the. I'm not really trying to go to What's going on here?
Japan and China.
Japan, boy.
I want to go. Japan.
They'll say I'm not a tourist.
I don't mind Japan for personal.
That sounds touristy though.
Japan, but China and Japan.
I know China's a bit.
China not anytime soon.
Yeah, China, you can't
No,
really be feeding that.
You
can't be putting money in their pockets still.
Even places like Kiev and
at the same time as well, those kind of places, Japan and China,
Ukraine.
You know, have you man not seen videos of black people that go to like Japan and China and they just get
basketballer
of people taking pictures of them.
But you know me, I'll just walk. I don't care.
All right, they'll follow you. Have you not seen videos?
They'll follow you. You know,
they will just follow you because they don't see black people.
I'm gonna rent a GTR, and they can continue to follow me.
Right.
Well done.
I'm gonna go on a place
in Japan. Whatever car you have, they'll have faster one.
Nah.
Yeah,
like one of the things.
Don't be doing Tokyo drift, fam.
I want to go to these places for different places. No. So what I want to do in Japan, one of these things, I want to go to. There's a place called Fun to Drive, where you can rent like an old Skyline GTR, and they take you to these epic. There's a place called Hakone Drive.
When a man says epic, you know that man, a man is really passionate.
Yeah,
it's epic.
And they got a lot of nice halal places to eat. And
Japan,
halal.
Yeah.
What the fish? Yeah, fish halal.
No, like halal chicken.
Okay.
In Tokyo and for me as a petrol head, they've got all the places in Yokohama, like the Nissan factory, the Nissan museum, the Yamaha, all these places.
So you want to go there and be a tourist?
Basically, yeah. But if you think about it, where else would I be able to do it? And it's not really touristy because it's a part of their culture. All of these,
but most tourist sites are.
Look into Japan. They don't mess around when it comes to their automotive.
Yeah, but like for example, the Great Wall of China is part of their culture, but that is a massive tourist attraction.
Yeah.
So if you go there, you're being a tourist.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I guess. But
he's gonna be wearing a Nissan t-shirt. He's gonna have that.
Nah. That's too much. That's too much. Like for example, I wouldn't be doing that in Algeria.
What was that?
You're more likely to be a tourist in Japan.
Yeah, because I like cars.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's like the other side.
Yeah, you're not gonna go there.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna go there and look at all the anime stuff and all that.
Why not?
And all the shirk stuff.
Why not? Not shirk stuff, but you said anime. Why not?
Because I'm not into that.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's
as long as that's the only reason. Don't start chatting bad.
Nah. You man on your gins.
Whoa.
Them anime gins.
Whoa. On the should we? Because prayers due soon.
Yeah.
Should we leave it there as a first episode in the?
I want to go Nigeria.
We have to say that. I need to go Nigeria.
I really want to go Nigeria. But Nigeria's expensive, bro.
Yeah.
Flights are mad.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ghana's another place I want to go.
Ghana.
Inshallah.
Yeah, that needs to change from. But anyway, let's wrap that. Yeah, man. New beginnings and that, man. It's good, man. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, new beginnings.
It's good.
Alhamdulillah.
That's good.
Episode 18.
Yep. Socials. Ibs.
Yeah. Instagram, Jollof after Jummah.
Ibs is a Twitter warrior now on the judge thing. So
Twitter JJ_pod. Yeah.
And we need to get to 300 followers on the Insta soon, so we can do like a little something.
It's not on 300 already.
No. What we need to do is we want to do something for that.
We do have something
in store.
They want to talk about coming up.
Do you know it is
this month?
If you to be honest, I can clip it onto the. I can clip if we can just record it on voice notes and I can clip it to the end of the beginning of the episode. If you wanna, we have till Friday.
We'll leave it. Until it's official.
Okay, well, we have time to make it official.
What we spoke about yesterday?
Yeah, we have time to.
Can't remember.
After football,
the event.
We have.
Don't say it. But we have time. We have time to make that official between now and Friday, anyway. Inshallah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Twitter. JJ_pod. Talk to us.
If you're on YouTube,
talk to me.
Not only subscribe, but make sure you click the notification bell.
Yeah.
And please leave a comment. Like, there's no comments on our videos.
Yeah, man. Yeah. When I say tell us what you think, I'm actually asking you.
We need some interaction. We need to know what you like.
Yeah, man.
We're providing a service.
Trying to anyway, inshallah. Alright, cool, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.